Okay, I'm back. Should have flu, but again, we'll have to wait and see if he calls.
Fraternal Order of Police opposes it. Daniel Barnett, ONN News.
Ohioans vacationing in the Florida Panhandle may be dodging a tropical storm today. Fred is expected to come ashore late this afternoon or evening with winds of at least 60 miles per hour. I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network.
Live and local conversation for the Ohio Valley continues shortly here on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
Wheeling Coin and Hobby on 10th Street in Wheeling.
All right, very good. Batting 3 for 3 today. That's right, I forgot we had one more after this.
1833. Wheeling Coin and Hobby is open daily from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Coin and Hobby, 304-232-8430, and add them on Facebook.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Have you ever thought about having a podiatric physician examine your feet? Doctors of podiatric medicine set broken bones, perform wound care, and remove bunions. Common health issues that they treat include ingrown or fungal nails, corns, warts, and skin problems like athlete's foot. Foot exams are easy and can prevent many problems. If you can't walk, work, or enjoy sports activities without pain, what are you waiting for? To find a podiatric physician who is a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Welcome to the 54th National Tractor Pulling Championships Reloaded, the largest truck and tractor pull in the world with 11,000 reserved seats and 2,100 campsites. Watch pullers from across the world compete for the coveted NTPC Championship ring. Rich in history, home to hospitality. Experience the power of the pulls. August 19th, 20th, and 21st in Bowling Green, Ohio. Purchase your tickets today.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your start to the work week. Mix of sun and clouds with scattered showers and storms possibly. A daytime high near 75. Scattered showers through the evening, the overnight. Temperatures down to about 68 for the low. Chance for showers and storms for your Tuesday. Otherwise, times of clouds and sunshine with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Welcome, everyone.
What's so funny?
What's so funny?
It's National Tell a Joke Day.
Let me tell a joke.
Oh, do tell me this is a joke.
Please tell me this is a joke.
A joke. Just a joke.
You know I got jokes.
Tell a joke day.
Joking.
We got jokes and jokes and jokes.
Ain't no joke.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's showtime.
Informing and entertaining the Valley for over 25 years. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe in the 100 Days of Summer.
It's National Tell a Joke Day. All right, let's get a joke out here. All right, I got a great joke. Here's a great joke for you. I got two of them. I got two of them. Two great jokes for you here on National Tell a Joke Day. Trump was one of America's greatest presidents. How about that? Or how about this one? Another joke for you. Jim Justice is one of the smartest governors we've ever had in West Virginia. Why aren't you all laughing with me? Those were jokes. They were jokes, see? You get it? 68 and cloudy at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 69 and raining pretty good here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling. 68 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Speaking of Trump, before I get to my guest off the text line, Howard, I can't believe you're blaming the Afghanistan pullout on Trump. But then that's what you and all other Democrats do. Well, Trump negotiated a pullout. He wanted to pull out, I think actually earlier, and this was a couple of years ago, and in point of fact, just a couple of weeks ago, Trump issued a statement saying that Biden should pull out sooner. I don't know how I'm not blaming it on Trump. I'm simply saying that Trump wanted to pull out of Afghanistan, as does Biden, as does the American people. But thank you for your text at 304-214-1600. Well, let's talk about what's going on in West Virginia. One of the big things that we haven't spent a huge amount of time on, and I want to talk a bit about it right now, is the redistricting efforts that are going on. And to help me do that, it is the puppet master, Sean Fluharty. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Howard. How's it going?
Let me check. All my parts are in place. How about you?
Same. Feeling pretty good. Looking forward to getting this redistricting process completed.
This is going to be a really critical year. We're redistricting. We've talked a lot about how it's going to affect our congressional districts, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But it's also going to impact our state issues, the state Senate, and maybe more importantly, the state delegate districts too, right?
Absolutely. Dramatic changes coming to the House of Delegates now that we're going to go to 100 single-member districts. So just locally speaking, even Ohio County and Marshall County and Hancock County, where we have multi-member districts, you're going to see those districts change, and you're going to see single-member districts. So those who are representing the single member districts will be representing roughly, I believe, 2,200 people versus the numbers we have now. So it's going to change dynamics of what the maps look like, who's representing who, and how, which doesn't get any publicity at all, how races will be conducted going forward. Because as you look at it, Howard, races for the House of Delegates should become inexpensive compared to what they are now, because you're looking at a much smaller population base. But really what, Howard, we should talk about that we don't hear much about is the fact that the process to get it done is one that's rather, I find to be just outrageous, honestly. You have legislators drawing the maps. It's not an independent commission. They don't bring people in who are nonpartisan. The legislators draw the maps every 10 years. That's what we do in West Virginia. I mean, it's really a bit ridiculous on its face when you stop and think about it.
Which, of course, leads to the well-known gerrymandering of districts. I think, actually, the Attorney General kind of threatened you on that at one point, did he not? On social media, you said something, and he said, well, maybe we'll just redistrict you out or something of that nature. I mean, it was almost
Patrick Moore. Yeah, it was a veiled threat by him. I'm sure if Patrick Morrissey had the opportunity, he'd draw me in another state, maybe New Jersey, where he's actually from, if he had his way. But unfortunately, he does not, and he's not a big fan of mine, nor am I a big fan of his, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, he did throw the his little Twitter account. You know, he was up late night tweeting at me that he was going to draw me out, basically, or at least it was a veiled threat of the sort. But every now and then we'll banter back and forth.
But that's kind of saying the quiet part out loud, though. You know, you shouldn't say that, Mr. Attorney General. You shouldn't, because he really did kind of imply. It was an implication, but it was a clear implication that he would like to just redistrict you out. Sean, you're in an unusual position, though, because there's a lot happening in your district, and I want to get back to this process again in a minute, but let's talk about you. You and Erica Storch currently represent Ohio County, or essentially Ohio County, the 3rd delegate district. That has to change because it's going to be a 1-delegate district. The district itself may change, you know, maybe part of Ohio County may be different than other parts of Ohio County. And then there's I'm going to just ask you, are you interested in Bill Ehlenfeld's seat? There's the likelihood of, Bill Ehlenfeld will almost certainly be leaving the Senate as he moves back to the federal attorney's position. That slot's going to be open. I'm assuming you're going to be one who wants to look at that as well.
Oh, absolutely, Howard. You know, I've been fighting for the Northern Panhandle since I've been elected. I think everybody knows that. I'm very vocal in my thoughts and the process on how I represent the Northern Panhandle. And I don't believe I've just represented an isolated area of the Northern Panhandle. I stand up and fight for the entire Panhandle, and I believe I could do that over in the Senate. And I will seek the appointment for sure, and I will also run for the seat if I happen to not get the appointment. You know, I will seek the appointment. If the appointment is merit-based, I believe on the list that will be submitted to the governor, if we have a merit-based system, I'm the one that should be selected.
And let's be honest about it. You and the governor have had your own wars as well. I'm not sure that you're at the top of his list, if you know what I'm saying.
I may not be the top of his list, but I think he respects me, and he understands that I have been vocal when I felt necessary. I've also supported him. I've supported him on the vaccine rollout, the fact that he's been one of the few Republicans nationally in his role to say, hey, let's get some shots in the arms, let's make it as accessible as possible. So yeah, just like any other event where there's competition involved, I praise when it's necessary and I criticize when it's necessary. That's how it works. That's how it should work. I mean, you can't just have a system down to who's in charge all the time, and I think he appreciates that. He's not overly political.
Well, okay. I'll just leave that last line go. But I do think he, like you, I have a huge amount of criticism for Governor Justice, but I do think often his heart's in the right place, and I think he tries most of the time to do the right thing. I think he fails, but I think he tries to do the right thing. So I'll leave that.
I heard you.
Did I lose him, Biffy?
I think either that or he's driving through a area somewhere.
I think he's in his car. He might be
McCabe?
driving through.
Oh,
there we go.
There
we
he is.
go.
There he is.
There we go. We lost you there for a minute, Sean.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I was saying I heard McCabe on your show the other day talking about the open seat, and if he's a betting man, I don't think he put all the chips in on the Fluharty name being selected, from what I could tell, from what he was saying.
No, I think he was pretty clear he wouldn't necessarily do that. But you think you've got there will be 3 names selected by, I don't know what committee it is, the state senate committee from the 1st district, whatever it is, that will put 3 names forward. The governor will pick one. Get a sense of who else is going to be in that mix, Sean? I'm picking your brain here.
No, not at this point. I'm sure there's not a long list of Democrats. If you think about it, Howard, let's just be honest about this discussion. Who can win on the Democratic side other than me? Who can win that? Who can run and win that seat and represent the Northern Panhandle like I have for the past 6 years? Who can do that on the Democratic side?
Look, Sean, let's be honest, and I'd like you and all that kind of good stuff, and we're in simpatico political positions, but an awful lot of people who think you're way too liberal.
No, the voters don't. They keep reelecting me, don't they? We're in the red part of the state. Our entire state is red. See, I don't agree with that, Howard, because I think people respect the fact that I have been open and honest, and I fight. And I don't think people are overly political when they go to the polls and vote. I have plenty of Republicans who vote for me. They don't agree with all of my policies, but they respect me because they understand that I fight the Northern Panhandle, and I don't back down to anybody. And that's what you need to be successful in the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party has not done well because for many years they've been spineless in how they've gone about their representation instead of actually standing up and fighting for something. So I'm not worried about that at all. And I don't think there are many Democrats who can win in the current state of affairs we have in this state.
I actually would agree with you on all of that, and I think that they're never. Let me say this: there's very seldom a time where we don't know where you stand. So I mean, that's right. I think, and I say that in a good way. People know where you stand. Sean, what's going to happen to what's now the 3rd delegate district, the Ohio County? Is it going to divide into 2? I mean, I know that we don't know ahead of time, but what's your best guess what's going to happen?
So we received some of the raw data, and going over the numbers, I don't believe we'll lose a seat. You're going to see it cut differently. I'm not sure. I presume there have been kind of some maps that have been out there. I would presume. I haven't seen anything yet. We haven't had our official meetings. We've had public meetings where the public can come and talk about their districts and what they'd like to see happen. But I don't think we'll lose a delegate in the Northern Panhandle, at least in the Ohio County area. But I will presume that we'll have a different map. What will they do with the city of Wheeling? Will it be split in any way? Will it be a north-south kind of deal? Are they going to bring the lines down more, Howard? I mean, could you see the 2nd district coming down into the 3rd more, and vice versa? That I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I think based on the numbers, we're going to be okay in Ohio County as far as how many delegates we representing the area. You're just going to have a more isolated map of that representation.
Well, as you point out, the legislature does the actual drawing of the map, but they do it under certain guidelines. You have to meet certain criteria, do you not? A certain balance of population and so on. What are some of the things that have to be looked at?
Well, you want to have, what you should have are natural boundaries, and you can't have, I think the one map everybody always points to congressionally is the Jim Jordan map in Ohio. Have you seen that one, Howard?
No, I have not.
Well, take your time and Google Jim Jordan's congressional map. It's ridiculous. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous the way they've cut that up. And I don't know how it's survived any constitutional challenges, but ideally you want to have natural boundaries. You want to have it in a way where it's on a zigzag line and people look at it and go, what is this? How is this guy representing, 3/4 of the state of Ohio, and it looks like they just threw darts at it and then connected them. And that's what you don't want to see happen. I think we have kind of natural boundaries. Obviously, the Northern Panhandle we do, but we also have our Morgantown area in Charleston where we have cities. There's pockets of blue among those. Those are the maps that make the most sense. This is a rural state. The rural area is going to be larger as far as the area itself, but it's population centered. So we're going to have to break it down into a population-based map. When you're talking about the House side, that's where it's going to get, I think, challenging for those who are drafting it, because there are just so many, 100, you talk about 100 seats, how that's going to break down. And when you look at a supermajority, the Republicans are going to try to draft it for 78, 79 of them who are incumbents. And to be a fly on that wall, Howard, when those conversations happen, I mean, I don't know how they're going to be able to do it. They've been too successful in their election, and they're trying to cut up a map on 100 seats.
Yeah, the truth of the matter is that they'll lose seats probably simply because it's going to 100 delegate districts. Some of the multi-county districts, not Ohio County 1, but Kanawha County is certainly one. There's some other larger counties that have multi-delegates, and a lot of those are, well, we're in a Republican state, so Republicans are likely to actually lose some people, legislators. Now, they may not lose percentage because the percentages will change based on the smaller number of delegates that'll be there, but it's going to be interesting. Well, do you anticipate the Senate districts seeing much change, state Senate districts?
I don't see much change in our area, but I mean, we've seen the biggest gain in the Eastern Panhandle as far as population goes. Now we've seen pockets of population loss. We had population loss in the Northern Panhandle, but it wasn't as impactful as it has been in other parts of the state. So I think you're going to see some lines change in the southern part of the state. As far as the northern part, I don't anticipate much change. Potentially, maybe that line comes down a little farther south into Marshall County a little bit, but I don't anticipate much change in Northern Panhandle.
What are you hearing? You've been holding public, I don't know if you've been to any of them or many of them, but you're on the committee, and there have been some public, I don't know what you call them, hearings, public forums where in different towns and communities where people can come together and talk about this redistricting. What, if anything, are you hearing? Are you getting any kind of sense from the public on this?
Well, I think there's a consensus they don't want to see any gerrymandering going on. You know, that's been a hot button issue for years. We only see this once every 10 years in West Virginia. And, you know, when you have legislators drawing the line, they still want to make sure that the process is one they can trust. I mean, if you lose trust in the process, then you might as well fold up the tent and call it a day. So transparency is important. I think it's good that public meetings have been taking place. It's also going to have to be transparent when we're in Charleston and the committee meetings are taking place, and that everybody knows what's going on, what the maps are looking like, and, you know, the drafted versions versus the final version, and making sure there's no gerrymandering or, you know, backroom deals going on these lines.
We're just getting some census numbers now, finally. So things are a little behind schedule, I would think. You know, a lot of people are going to be making plans for the upcoming election already. The election is next year. What kind of time frame are you working on here? What's going to happen next? After these public hearings, there's one in Wheeling, is it next week?
The 24th.
24th. After the public hearings are held or the public conversations are held, what happens next?
We will convene in Charleston for the committee process. My understanding is that's when, we should have all the data by then. We kind of got the baseline now. And then we come to an agreement through the committee process on the redrawing of the map, the 100 delegate districts, which I anticipate being the most controversial because just the sheer number of them. And we go through the process just like any other bill, is my understanding. Obviously, this is my first time going through it, and I'm actually on the committee. There's only a select few of us on the committee itself. But, you know, the public's going to have input during this phase. Then we go through the legislative phase of it. Here's the interesting part, Howard. Under West Virginia law, and I believe it's enshrined in our Constitution, you have to actually live in the district a year out from the election. So we're up against the clock. You're going to have a lot of people who are incumbents, and they're going to be struggling to see if they're going to be actually in the district, if the district's completed by then. I presume it will be by November. So will you have incumbents scrambling to try to, you know, move or live in the district they currently represent? I think you're going to have a real issue there on the timelines involved as far as where you're living at, when you actually decide you're going to run for office, and all these things that typically you do under a normal circumstance. You're really kind of shrinking that into maybe a 30-day notice. And that's going to be very impactful.
Yeah. That's really a good point. The timing of this is, the time frame can be so short. And if you have to, there are folks who may want to think about, you know, moving across the street, so to speak, in order to get into the correct district they want to run from. And time is running short on that. Sean, who will actually draw the maps? I mean, I know that who's responsible for the decision, but who draws the maps? I mean, you guys don't just sit around with a legal pad and a red pen and draw a map, do you? Somebody's got to actually draw these maps. Somebody's got to do a first take on it. Who does that? Do you have?
Well,
is that a staff
great
thing?
legislative staff. Yeah, I believe that's legislative staff, and there's the staff in Charleston is fantastic. They're great at drafting bills, getting bills ready. I really can't say enough for the staff down there in Charleston. From every minutia that's involved in the legislative process, we have one of the best in the entire country. I really stand behind that 100%. So I'm confident they can get it done. The question is, does it come to a position where legislators are down there pretending they have coloring books and they're coloring red and coloring blue, and then they want to put the lines in after the fact instead of beforehand?
Yeah, and that's my point. Somebody will have to do sort of a first take of the map, but how much of it's going to be done by, okay, we need this district to be a little more red. We need this district to be, let's push all the blue folks over here into this one little district so we can have more red. I know how it works. I just don't know how it works, if you understand what I'm saying.
Sure. Well, if there's anybody committed to a process, it's House Speaker Roger Hanshaw. I mean, that guy, as you know, he sticks to the script pretty well. He doesn't veer from it. So if there's anybody who can control any shenanigans, it's Roger Hanshaw. I'll give him that for sure.
All right, Sean, appreciate your time today. Good conversation. We will be in touch as time goes by and see how this whole thing works out. It impacts Congress, it impacts the state Senate, it impacts the delegates, which means the makeup of the legislature is going to change somehow, and it's going to be an interesting year. That's all I can say.
Interesting times, Howard.
Absolutely. Thank you, my friend. Talk to you soon. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Take care. Thanks.
That's the puppet master, as I often call him, Ohio County Delegate Sean Fluharty, who would like to be state senator. Sean Fluharty, Bill Ehlenfeld, who has been a tremendous state senator since he was elected a couple years ago, still in his first term, but he has been reappointed to the position he really enjoyed before and wanted again, which is the U.S. Attorney here in the Northern District of West Virginia. Bill did a great job with that, and maybe it's where he belongs. So with the change in administrations, Bill is back in there. Can't imagine he would have too much trouble in his confirmation process. It is a majority Democrat Senate. B, Ehlenfeld has already been through the vetting process. He already has been confirmed by the Senate for this exact same position. So unless somebody come up with something really weird that's going to change people's minds, it's tough for them to say, well, he was okay 6 years ago, but not so much now. So I think Bill will probably not have too much trouble getting confirmed by the Senate, and then he'll have to resign from the legislature, and he won't have any trouble getting confirmed by the U.S. Senate for the attorney's position. Then he'll have to resign from the West Virginia legislature and start looking at, and then we all start looking at who's going to replace him. Fluharty, I think, is obviously, he says he's putting his name hat in the ring, and I expected that. McCabe and I last week suggested maybe Randy Schwartzmiller, who ran for the state Senate seat and who did not win the last time in the first district, but he, a former delegate, he may take a stab at that. I don't know who else on the Democrat side may be there. Could be somebody totally out of the blue who will pop up. I have not heard any rumors or rumblings, but one never knows. And of course, then that's to replace Ehlenfeld to the end of his term, but then next year's the election. Sean says he'll run even if he's not appointed. So got Fluharty in the mix. What about the Democrats? What about the Republicans? What about Erica Storch? Again, I should ask Erica. Erica, if you're listening, you can text me or call me. Tell me, are you interested in the Senate seat or not? What about her? Will she be interested in running for the state Senate seat that will be an open seat? What about Ryan Ferns, who ran before, was beaten by Ehlenfeld? He's been sort of in seclusion since the last election, but one never knows. It's going to be interesting. Which is what we in the talk show world are always looking for, Biff. Interesting things.
And we're going to have it again for next year.
Yes, indeed. It's always good to know, to look ahead and say, yeah, we're going to have some stuff here. All right, 9:33, 27 till the hour here, Watchdog Morning Show for a Monday. It is 69 and some light rain outside my home studios. It is 60, double check here again, 68 and cloudy at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, 68 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios, downtown Wheeling, in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Let's check some headlines for you from our friends at Metro News. We'll also get Billy D's morning sports report coming up, and a few odds and ends that I want to share with you. Biff and I may talk a bit about a couple of matters. You can call me or text me if you would like to, and we can get you into the mix if you want to. And we'll put the kibosh on the hour with our friends from the Big 7 telling us what they're working on today. That's what's straight ahead here on the Watchdog Morning Show on WKKX and WVOY FM and AM.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Carol.
1.
Last week in the Morgan County Health Department. Health Officer Dr. Kevin McLaughlin says this is the only way to go for now.
It became apparent with what's going on locally that we're going to need to mask our kids in schools, K through 12, and I mean mask everybody, K through 12, to keep these kids in school.
Students there return to the classroom next week. Today is the first day of school in Fayette County. Kanawha County prosecutors plan to review a case involving the death of a teenage girl. The girl was shot and killed at around 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon in the community of Rutledge. No charges have been filed. And looking for something to eat at Tamarack in Beckley? The dining area is back open today after it was forced to shut down last week due to an employee testing positive for COVID. You can read all our stories at WVMetroNews.com. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. Fairgoers across the state are making their way to the State Fair in Greenbrier County this week. Melissa Hobbs of Fairmont says she's excited to be back after last year's closure due to COVID-19.
It was sad because, I have came here every year since I was 6 weeks old, so it was sad not getting to see the fair, so it's nice to get back to some normalcy.
More than 13,000 people showed up on Thursday, the first day of the fair. Gates open at 9 a.m. each day through Saturday. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Carrie Hudasek.
At PNC Park Sunday afternoon, the visiting Milwaukee Brewers edge the Pirates 2-1. The Pirates fall to 42-76, and the Pirates are back in action tonight when they visit the Los Angeles Dodgers. Well, after playing 2 preseason games on the road, the Pittsburgh Steelers will finally host a game at Heinz Field. Saturday night, the team will host Detroit. And another former Steelers assistant coach, Joe Walton, passed over the weekend. Mr. Walton was 85. Are you sitting down for this story? A piece of cardboard just sold for $6.6 million. It's a Honus Wagner card. That's a record, by the way, for a baseball card. The legendary Pirate shortstop played his last game in 1917. This card is 110 years old. Think about that. A piece of cardboard, $6.6 million. By the way, coming up in the 12 o'clock hour, we'll hear from Pirate announcer John Wayner. That's coming up on a variety show in the 12 o'clock hour. I'm Bill DeFabio, and we are the Watchdog.
You know, there's variety shows, and then there's, my variety show. I'm Bill DeFabio, and I bring you the best variety talk in the Ohio Valley, quite possibly the world. Join me from noon till 2 to talk sports, nostalgia, and hear from some of the legends of the game. You won't believe who I have on next. The Bill DeFabio Variety Show, noon till 2 on the Watchdog.
Who wants craft craft beer. Saturday, August 21st, the Mountaineer Brewfest is back at Wheeling Heritage Port, showcasing craft beers from West Virginia's finest brewers. With great food, live entertainment, and many more craft beer selections in our beer garden, it's a wild and wonderful time, and you don't want to miss out. Proceeds benefit a Special Wish Foundation. Get your tickets now at MountaineerBrewfest.com. Brought to you by Wheeling Island Hotel, Casino, Racetrack, and the UPS Store.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection. Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gellner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gellnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content, and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
Hi, it's Tony Caridi, host of the CityNet Statewide Sports Line right here on Metro News. Join the Senator, Brad Howe, Coach Greg Hunter, and myself as we discuss the day's biggest sports stories, talking with coaches, former players, and sports writers from all over the state and across the nation, bringing you the latest from the high schools, colleges, and the pro game. So don't miss the CityNet Statewide Sports Line, weeknights at 6:06 here on the Metro News Radio Network and streaming live at WVMetronews.com.
You can vote in our Watchdog poll and read commentary in our blogs on WatchdogNetwork.com. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
Teddy, you want to come here and tell people on the radio what the weather's like outside? Tell me tell me about that rain. It was such a hard rain. It was like big rocks dropping from the sky. Is that what you said? If he told me to shut up.
Get used to it.
He just said, will you shut up? Teddy just came down and it's raining outside. And he said, oh, it is so hard. It was like rocks coming out of the sky. So I thought maybe you want to come and share the weather forecast with you, but no. Instead, he just told me to shut up. So, oh, all right. Okay. We're still looking at 69 degrees and rain here at the home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, and we're looking at 68 degrees and cloudy skies at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. You are going to see rain throughout the day today, indeed all throughout the week this week. Not quite as hot as it was last week. That's good. 76 predicted high for the day today. And in the 70s, low 80s most of the week. However, it is going to be muggy today. So muggy and wet, and if I wasn't playing video games and Mario Brothers or whatever Teddy wants to play, I'd probably just get my book and sitting in front of the fire. Well, not the fire, but sitting in front of the fireplace and reading the book. 18 to the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. If you want to join me, 304-214-1600. 304-214-1600. I have the text line open and available. Something you want to share with me, you can do that. on that line. If you want to call, I got a few minutes of phone calls, 304-232-8255, 304-232-TALK. Biff, have you ever heard of stan culture?
No, I have not.
I haven't either. I have not either. Article in Politico magazine says that there is something called stan culture, S-T-A-N, which kind of is when you worship celebrities or you worship worship maybe is a bad phrase, but you idolize celebrities or you idolize other kinds of people. Politico says that the stan culture, and again, if that's a phrase that everybody knows except for me, I'm just too old to know it, I guess. The Politico article says it's a new form of deeply personalized, extremely online devotion, which is now being seen in political figures. In other words, political figures are creating a cult-like group of people around them. Now, we certainly have always seen this. There can be no better example than Donald Trump, who has a cult-like following. But Politico says that other stan culture figures are Vice President Kamala Harris, who has, I guess I don't pay attention to this kind of stuff, Biff. Her followers are called the K-Hive. Did you ever hear that?
No.
I haven't either. Now, this one I have heard. Former President and New York City mayoral candidate Andrew Yang, who has what's called the Yang Gang, people that are big supporters of his. I've heard of that before. Senator Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump both have their own stan culture around them as well. I don't have any idea what this means, but it's in Politico this morning. They note that having standum doesn't always mean political success. Joe Biden does not have any stands. This story is just stupid. It's just stupid, but I'll share it with you. Joe Biden has no stands, but he still won the election. So I don't know. It's a piece in Politico. My thought is somebody had to, write something for a Monday morning. What am I going to write? I got nothing. It's Sunday night. I got nothing. I got to write a column for tomorrow. What's it going to be? And so they wrote about the stan culture, which I've never heard of. Apparently Andrew Cuomo used to have a stan gang as well. Not so much anymore. Not so much anymore. Looking to see what did they say his guys were called? Doesn't say. Anyway, I'm looking here. If you're a new consumer of a certain age, that would be me, I guess they're talking about. The first time you might have encountered the stan nomenclature was likely during one of 2020's many events. Former President Donald Trump's ill-timed June campaign rally in Tulsa, which was derailed by anti-Trump TikTok users and K-pop stans. This story makes no sense to me, Biff. I'm reading the whole piece from Politico. I do know that politicians, celebrities, probably out there's four people who are fan groups of this show. So I mean, everybody has fans, I guess, but that's just strange. That's just bizarre. Coming up today, statewide talk line 10:06. After we are done here, we talked with Bob Ney. Really good conversation, I thought, about Afghanistan. Bob was in Congress during the decision to send military activity into Afghanistan, and he voted for that. And he's been in Afghanistan a number of times. He helped form the Afghanistan caucus in Congress and so on. So we got Bob's take on Afghanistan. And if you want to catch that, I thought it was a really good conversation. It'll be up on our podcast page a little bit later on today, so check that out. Today on Statewide Talk Line, West Virginia Secretary of State Mac Warner will be in. He's a veteran, and he served 5 years in Afghanistan and also with the U.S. State Department. He led a team of nearly 100 lawyers who tried to create a democratic government in Afghanistan. The government was created, but it has now fallen. So you'll hear from Mac Warner and his perspective on Afghanistan coming up today on Statewide Talk Line. I think that kicks off the show at 10:06. Also, Brad McElhenney in to talk about the governor's thoughts on the census. And Congresswoman, I did it again. She's been a senator for 2 terms, right, Biff?
I think so.
And I'm still everyone. I apologize to Shelley Moore Capito. Senator Shelley Moore Capito is in to talk about the infrastructure bill. That's all coming up today. Statewide Talk Line beginning at 10:06, 10 to noon here on the Watchdog. After that, of course, we'll check in with the WTF TV 7 news team for their Ohio Valley headlines. We go straight to the anchor desk of Channel 7 every day at noon. After that, Bill DeFabio's variety show, sports and conversation and music and fun. And who's he got today, Biffy? Pirate announcer?
John Wayner.
All right, coming on with Bill DeFabio today on the Bill DeFabio Variety Show. When Bill is done, of course, at 3 o'clock, it is Dave Weekly and Hotline. And after that, it is Tony Caridi. No, after that, it's the 5 o'clock news from Channel 7 and the 5:30 news from Mark Curtis and the folks at Next Star Media. Then at 6 o'clock, Tony Caridi has a sports conversation for you on Sportsline. It's all coming up throughout the day today. And as I mentioned a couple of days ago, it's not this week, it's next week, I think, that high school Sportsline begins, Biffy.
I believe next Wednesday, the 25th.
I think that's right. Next Wednesday, Fred and the gang will have high school Sportsline, and then we'll be getting ready to kick off our own sports coverage, Biff, with the Friday afternoon walkthrough and all of our games. First game is the 20-something, right?
No, it's this Friday.
Oh, this Friday?
Yeah, because Ohio starts a week earlier.
They start a week early, that's right.
Than
You're
West
right.
Virginia, so it'll be Shady Side and Martins Ferry, and then the guys will have the walkthrough on Friday afternoon and kind of the walkthrough / football preview show. And then, Shady Side and Martins Ferry on Friday. And then the following week is both Wheeling Central and John Marshall. And all the rest of West Virginia, they start on the 27th.
So football is, King football is coming back, and we're ready to present it to you throughout the season here. We'll also have WVU football. We'll have Ohio State football. Oh, it's that time of year, Biffy. Getting kind of exciting. We already had a Browns game, didn't we?
Yeah, Browns, I think Labor Day weekend.
All right, so we have a lot of sports coming up for you here on the Watchdog. You want to be kicking around for that. And each week we'll let you know who our games of the week are and so on and so forth. And I'll let you know as soon as I get the list and find out who's coming up. 9 before the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Coming up later this week, I just want to mention this. I had talked to you all about the idea of making, and this came from Harry Ham's original proposal of the Wheeling 2000 plan, that maybe Wheeling could be a retirement community as well as all of the other things that are being done. And Phil Kabler, in his State House Beat column last week, not this weekend, but the weekend before, talked about the possibility of making West Virginia a retirement state. Maybe people would like to retire in West Virginia. And we're going to talk with Jamie Crow from Elmhurst about the needs of older folks here in the Upper Ohio Valley and how well they're being met. And I think they are being met. I think the idea of this being a retirement community makes a lot of sense. It's the one part of Harry Ham's Wheeling 2000 plan that really never got picked up and run with. And we're going to talk more about that later this week. Right now, we're going to talk about what's happening at the Big 7. Brenda's here with us from WTF TV. Good morning, Brenda.
Hey, Howard, how are you?
I'm good. How was your weekend?
It was nice. It was nice. Saturday was very nice. Yesterday, the weather was not so nice, and I tried to have a swim picnic for my son who turned 23, so that didn't go so well. But that's okay.
Doesn't it feel...
Yeah.
doesn't it feel weird saying my son who turned 23?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Lord, it's hard to believe. It's just hard to believe that he turned 23. I just don't know where the time went, but we still had our picnic. We just didn't swim, so we made the best out of it, which is all you can do with weather, and we went from there. But it was a nice weekend. How was yours?
It was fairly quiet. My grandson had a lot of other. My grandson was watching a TV show, one of these National Geographic shows or something for kids, about an explorer who went looking for a treasure in a cave, and then he decided he wanted to go to a cave. So his mom and dad took him up to Luray Caverns. They went over to Uniontown, and he got to explore an honest cave. He was very excited about doing some spelunking over the weekend. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah,
it was really neat. So, but as a result, he wasn't here, and then I cried because I'd always cry when he's not here.
I bet, yeah. Oh, just think, I'm not even going to say that to you. I would not want to start your day on a depressing note when he's older and just has so much on his
but
plate.
I think about it all the time, Brenda.
I know.
I know where you're going, and I think
I've got
about it all the
one that will
time.
be 15, a granddaughter that'll be 15, and she's just busy. So it happens, but that's okay.
Yep.
That's okay.
What are you working on today?
A bunch of things. Did you guys, I didn't hear you because I was busy working in the newsroom, but did you talk to Howard Gamble today on the latest and his thoughts?
We did. Really interesting stuff going on, I think.
We're talking to him
numbers
as
are
well
rising.
today, so I figured you had already talked to him, so we're going to also speak with him and, kind of go a little in depth on what he's seeing as you did, and also on the possibility for a booster shot, and then just his thoughts on that, and just a couple of items that we want to touch base with him on. So that's one thing we're working on today. We have our back-to-school piece, which today we've been doing them Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Today it's on school bus safety on both sides of the river. So we talked to Tom Howard about how people, next week need to slow down because kids will be back in school come the 25th, is it, or the 24th, somewhere in there. In fact, St. Michael's goes back this week on the 18th, so everybody's got to be watching for their school buses now. And so we're talking to Tom Howard on this side of the river, and then we're talking to the Ohio State Highway Patrol on bus safety in Ohio. So that'll be a good package. Danny is working on that. Aaliyah is down in Marshall County right now. They're having a 10 o'clock informal press conference just on how they're going to treat COVID and what kids have to do going back into Marshall County. So we are there. And then really interesting story, we're going to be talking to Ryan Weld early this afternoon. He served 10 years in Afghanistan. So I'm really, really interested. He's not going to get political. He's not going to put his political, anything political into it. Just his thoughts on the people as, many of them are trying to get out of Afghanistan. So that should be a really, really good story.
What a mess it is over there. And we talked to former Congressman Bob Ney this morning. Bob was in Congress when the whole thing got started 20 years ago. And, what do you do? I mean, did we make mistakes along the way? I think pulling out was probably right. I mean, you can't just keep going on forever, but look what it has wrought.
Yeah,
It
has.
What a mess.
What a mess. Yeah, no, that's a pretty good summary of it. Very good analysis that it's just a mess. And quit pointing fingers, but let's figure out something because it's just really bad. But other than that, we have our high school football previews again today. People can watch for those, and just kind of a lot going on for a Monday.
And it's going to be a rainy day on Monday.
It's going to be a rainy week, I think. A rainy week for us, which was last week as well. So, yuck. Get out of this cycle. I'm ready to let's finish summer here on it with lots of sunshine and not so much rain.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the kids who have this is their last week before school. You want to be able to get out and play in the sun and maybe go to the pool and all those kind of things. And instead, it's going to be a rainy week. Not the best week to celebrate your last week of freedom.
No, you're absolutely right. I never even thought about that. That even stinks more.
It does.
But
anyway. Watch for all of that at noon, 5, 6, 10, 11, 5:30, the statewide show, and always at WTRF.com.
You have a great Monday, Howard. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot, Brenda. Appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
Brenda Barnard from the Big 7, WTRF TV, checking in this morning here on what they're working on today. Yeah, it's going to be a rainy week all week. So I don't know what I'm going to do, Teddy. We usually think about going outside, going to the pool, maybe sit on the deck at least or something, but we're not going to do any of that today. It is raining outside right now, and we're looking at 69 here at the home studios. Temperature will probably rise a little bit, but not a ton. Anyway, for now, it is time for me to say sayonara, see you, bye-bye, farewell. I got to go. I got to get out of here. Kercheval does have the comm coming up next, kicking things off with Mac Warner, excuse me, time on his term in Afghanistan. And that'll be a statewide talk line coming up next. As for me, as always, good Lord willing, creeks don't rise. Backbone doesn't ring, don't get impeached, don't retire. Ticker keeps on ticking. And most importantly, Teddy says, it's all right. You can go back to work tomorrow, Granddad. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, on the go-round of the big gig. Are you back with me, Brother Biff?
I will be here for a Tuesday.
We'll just keep on doing it until we get it right.
That could be a long time.
Indeed.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
From ABC News.
Okay, Biffy. Hopefully we got all the spots in. I had too many guests. They all were good, so. Okay, good. I worry about that because I couldn't take a break with they all were rambling so much. I couldn't really take a break, and concerned that we missed things. But okay, we got everything in. We're all right then. Okay. Any other problems today? Anything I need to be aware of? I did like the way you said that, Biff. It's as if you're anticipating things, you know? But I guess in our place, we never know. As soon as the storms come anymore, I start calling the transmitters just to see if we're on or off, you know? I just my automatic response. Storm coming? Let's see if we're on the air. Yep. All right, I should be around today. I don't think I'm going anywhere. Certainly not going out swimming or anything, so I'll be around. If you need me, call me. If not, I'll just talk to you in the morning like I always do. All right, thanks, Biff. Appreciate it. All right, bye.
Concrete. Still have people under concrete, she says. Tropical Depression Grace headed for Haiti as well. The rain, possible mudslides will make rescue efforts even more difficult. Tropical Storm Fred moving through the Gulf toward the Florida Panhandle. Landfall expected this evening. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has opened a formal investigation into Tesla's autopilot system, saying it's identified 11 crashes since 2018 in which Tesla's vehicles hit emergency vehicles that were standing with flashing lights. You're listening to ABC News.
You take steps to stay healthy when at the pharmacy picking up vitamins or filling a